egameni lomfeli wethu uYesu Kristu molweni. Kuluvuyo ukuba phakathi kwenu kusasa nje mem uzoba kunye neCape of Good Hope District. Kuluvuyo kwakhona ukubona omama bephakathi kwethu. Ngibona nomama uSiheri unkosikazi weclassmate yami esikolweni. Bulela lonto sangena kunye nomyeni wakho mama. Sayokwenza lanto kwakuthiwa ke ngamaxesha ethu ke mama uTolashe sasinento kuthiwa i-pre-pastoral course xa ungene kufundisile before uyeseketheni uyohlala iveki zibembini uxelelwa ngerhamento yakuyo. Sasikunye ke nento zositshaba Siheri. Siyambulela uThixo ngokubona mama. Bulela nalapha eqaleni kwakho ukusisi lapha eqaleni kwakho ke kwelicala naye sasikunye phaya kwesasithili saseRhini ephaya eMotherwell. Ndingumongameli wanebishop yakhe. Siyawabulela lawo mathuba. Ngiyayibona ngeDumsana isekethe khona. Isekethe yami. Isekethe yami. Ndahlala iminyaka noko emithathu pha sikunye kula sekethe. Siyakubulela lithuba. Siyalibulela kakhulu lokuba sizoba kunye nani apha. Mama uTolashe ke lo msebenzi ondibizele wona kulonyaka sendiye kwizithili ezi5 mangaphosisi. Apha ndilapho kwesibili. Bendisemadodaneni eWorcester. Ekunye ke notata lohleli baba phambi kwami. Iproblem lento ndibizele yona eyokuthi iyanceda ukuxhobisa le audience ehlela lapha phambi kwami. Kodwa le audience ayikwazi ukwenza nto xa ogxa bakho bengavumanga. And nabo ke ogxa bakho baxhomekeke kubalingani babo ukwenzela ukuba lento endize ngayo ikwazi ukuya phambili. Ndibutana xa ndijonga kwelicala. Xa amehlo ami esithi njena ndizama ujonga ndifumanisa ukuba ogxa bakho uyabona msina kubhitshile kwelicala lakho. Now lento ke yenza kube nzima ukuthi xa sithetha uxhobisa awukwazi ukuba nesiqiniseko sokuthi lento izawugqitha ifike isebenze ekhaya ngoba isitshixo ekhaya siphethwe ngaba bantu. Isitshixo sasekhasi lapha. And xa kubhijile ngapha means ke kuvaliwe ekhaya ngoba bazawubuza uba yintoni le nithetha ngayo. Kuba nothi endizoyenza apha emzini wami. So ndibutana ke and kude ke eGauteng bendingabhabhi mama bendiqhuba. So you may understand ukuthi ke le 1400 case iyavakala. Kodwa ke masibe nethemba lalamazi siwathethayo ngecawa lawa athi kwahlangana ababini babethatha egameni lakho yobanika izinto abazicelayo. uThixo uzawufeza. Umgomo wakho ke uthi God's love enables us. Ndiujonge kumgomo wakho ke ngaphansi okanye yangaphansi komgomo esuphiweyo inkokheli yecawa. Othi reimagining social holiness, sustaining hope and healing, remaining in the love of Christ. And that's what you understand the topic yakho. The topic yakho speaks about linking the young women's Manyano into the mission of the church. Now ndifuna kundivumele ndithi Ngokwamcela ndithe xa ndijonga ifilimu yakho ndanamazwi athi the young women's Manyano reimagining their place as a mission group in the life of the church. Umanyano losisi ecaweni yasewisili luzama ukujonga indawo yalo kabutsha ekuphileni kwabo ngaphakathi kwenkonzo kaThixo. Ngibambe kahle mama? Convention ke ndingumtswana. Ibuye fela. Ndingumtswana isiXhosa esi ndadibana naso apha endleleni. Ndazosibamba ke beterana ndadibana nalwasiso ngapha. Kaloku xa umthanda umuntu yanyanzeleka nezinye izinto uzifunda ukuthi uzazi ngoba utshalwa luthando. So ndaphela ke naso isiZulu isiXhosa ke ndisondela kuso. So kuba namaxesha apha amagama abalekayo. So because I want to be honest and fair to what I want to do, ngicela ndivumele nje ndisebenzise olwalimi lwasemzini. And ndizawulokhu ndizama ubuya ndize ekhaya. Ngiyandivumela. Kodwa ndivumela phansi. Engathi nithi hey uza nenye into ke ngoku. Ndiyakulanga masithandaze. Adipolelo tsa dipona matsame, dikakanyo tsame, dilo tsotlhe morena tse di dirang se ke leng shone, di amogelesega mo go wena morena le morekolodi wa me. Lala mo lelemeng jame, bua morena motlhanka wa gago reditse, thato e nne ya gago ka Kriste Jesu morena wa rona. Amen. Namaba anjaba my approach to your request is going to be in 3 parts. I'm going to try and attempt to just define for us what do we mean by social holiness, and then move from there and shortly just describe what mission is. And then the last part will be in 2 parts. It will be looking at what is a mission group within the Methodist Church of Southern Africa. And then say to you as this mission group, I have a dream. That will just be the way I hope God will guide me to handle this topic of linking the young women's Manyano in the mission of the church. There is a writer by the name of Jonathan Raymond. Ubhale incwadi ititle yayo ithi Holiness, Essence, Form and Shape. Ititle yencwadi is Holiness, Essence, Form and Shape. It's quite a big book. There is a quote that I like from him, and he too got it somewhere else. And it goes like this. If God is to engage people in the redemptive, reconciling, and restoration work of the kingdom through lives of holiness from generation to generation, his people must pursue the essence of holiness within the forms that are appropriate to time, place, and culture. Xa uThixo efuna ukuba abantu bakhe bangene emsebenzini wokukhulula abantu okanye wokuxolelaniso okanye umsebenzi wokubuyisela abantu kubumkani bamaZulu ngempilo zobundwele ukusuka kwi-generation to generation, abo bantu akumele abasebenzise usho uRaymond kumele kube ngabantu abaleka the essence undoqo, and that's what it's like, the essence undoqo wobungcwele within izinto ezakhayo ubungcwele. And that's what ngiyavakala na ngexesha nendawo abasifumana bekuyo abantu. Now, and that's why we are moving back. uRaymond kuye magama abini abambayo. Uxa abantu befuna basemsebenzini kaThixo kumele into engamandla abamele bayibambe kakuhle is the essence of holiness, not the form. Now, athi ke uJohn Wesley yena athi the people called to holiness by God must be able to distinguish between form and essence, and not find themselves embracing the forms of holiness, having lost the essence of being holy. John Wesley, if abantu abasibiza ngokuthi ke babizele kungcoleni kukaThixo kumele babe nayo indlela yokuhlula form and essence, bangazibhaqi benenjongelo. I don't know what is the right way to use, but benendlela ukubonakala ingathi bangcwele bengenabo ubungcwele. Amen. Iyavakala? Ngizwe nokuXhosa sama sikho bad kaka. Aphinde athi John Wesley, and niqhelileke lengizayithetha ngoku. Aphinde athi John Wesley, I am not afraid that the people called Methodist should ever cease to exist. Either in Europe, he was in England, either in Europe or America. But I am afraid that lest they should only exist as a dead sect, having the form of religion without the power of the religion. Now, John Wesley, andikhathaleli yokuba uwesele kuyatshabalala. People zawutshabalala ngenxa yokuthi abantu abazibiza ngokuthi bangamawisili bane form yobuKristu abanabo ubuKristu betere phela waseMzini. And now, and that's how you have into engamandla today is that the church is full of people who have the form, but not the essence. And again, we have decorated the form. About the form, we have given the camera frills in the uniform. In a speaker, it's red. In a pin, a blouse, and shop at the form. It gets to be Western. It's the Western Italians, and Macoscas, and Natazal Papa. We born in form, Papa. I am John Gag, and not John Gag. But also John Wesley, it is not about that. It is about what is sitting in your heart. Now, what the President John Wesley, if uthetha ngobungcwele, uthetha ngento not into ebonakalayo ngaphandle, into ehleli ngaphakathi, into ephekwayo on a daily basis ngaphakathi. Uthi John Wesley ubungcwele ububona emntwini eyedwa uphinde ubungcwele ububona umuntu enabantu. Uthi John Wesley ungcwele ivani inzima ke le. Uthi John Wesley ungcwele ungabonwa ngumuntu. Uthi xa ujonga lento kuye uxa uthi uyayibamba uzibuza umbuzo before uyibamba ukuba umele ayibambe na umuntu ongcwele lento. Now, into ezoba manje ku-holiness is because uJohn Wesley uyasifundisa ukuba awukwazi ukuhlula uthando nobungcwele. Nina? John Wesley, holiness of life is to be understood in terms of perfect life, or perfect love. If uthanda ngokupheleleyo ungcwele. Now ndibeka kuhleke. Angithethi ngosino nojalamba. Angithethi ngomusi nokhathiso. Because all uthando luhlukile. Oluthanda uThixo athetha ngalo. Nihamba nami? Uthi uJohn Wesley xa uthetha ngothando olupheleleyo uthi xa ulijonga malibu nobungcwele uthi kumele oluthando lube luthando olukwazi ukuba luthande apho kungathandwa khona. Uthi luthando olubhaqayo ngasekuhlaleni. Udaba wesiko uJohn Wesley unokwenzela iheadache ngamanye amaxesha athi uthanda indalo njengoba uzithanda wena. Uyandiva ndithini? Uthi uJohn Wesley uthanda indalo njengoba uzithanda wena. Hamba nami ke ngoku. Uthi uJohn Wesley idum awuyithengi. Are you with me? I'm just trying to show you when we talk creation, the idea of creation, we always limit it to this. The simple thing like a small insect, you never think of it as part of God's creation. You never think of it as something that God loves in the same way that God loves you. Because you are part of the creation as much as Ipela be part of the creation. Because the difference will be complicated for when, because when Impera can disappear in the whole of creation, the order of creation will be disturbed. Because Impera was not even created just for the sake of it being created. It has a role it plays in the creation. Angithi mafunda iBhayibheli awufumani apho kuthiwa wazidala zonke uThixo kodwa wathi amaphele eqaleni. Now, I don't know if you are struggling ngephela as we go further, Nasbag is out here. But yet you must have a good relationship with your environment. Then talk like some pepe stratwe. Then talk touching kunkum esendlini yakho yadini yakho ibeke endleleni. We are not being holy. This touching. Land of touching disposable and flush them. You are failing to be holy. Because the water gets recycled for the benefit of all of us. So we are contributing in the thank you. So when John Wesley speaks about holiness or the spreading of scriptural holiness, uthetha the transformation of the environment into a better space, the economy, the politics of the world we live in. And he was very strong on the abolishing of slavery and war. So holiness is more about new creation. Holiness is about creating a new order. Now uthi John Wesley futhi ukuthi awufuna indawo yokukhulisa ubungcwele bakho kumele ube nendawo yokukhonza. Ungabi lumanyano luza ku convention kodwa luye ecaweni. Uthi John Wesley xa ufuna ukukhulisa ubungcwele bakho ungayi ecaweni kanti iclass awihambi. Baba ezo ndawo ezimbili zibalulekile ukukhuliseni ubungcwele bakho. Enika wasewesilekizela amaKristu of events. Ubezi blouse ziyathetha bengizawuzibuza uba wagqiba lalini umncintsho. So for holiness you need community. You grow on your own, but your growth is fueled by the company of others. And you belong to a bigger group, but the smaller group now is as much important. And then holiness is social. Holiness is social because God is social. And God has created human beings who are social. So holiness is also about relating with others. So we are given the holiness as love. Now I'm telling you, but this very holiness also, it requires of you to connect with other people in the world that you live in. Okay, let's move on. Then he says, if you are really connected to God as a social being, a God who is holy, a God who is social, then there is an expectation for you that in your loving God, you must also be able to love your brother and sister in the way Christ loves them. And in turn, now see, I move on your brother and sister. Now, in the language of the Bible, when we talk brother and sister, we're not just talking your biological. And we're not only talking labo konza kunye nabo. Now, when you talk brother and sister in the church or in the Christian space, you are talking about loving any person you come across. Now, if you look at the 77, you love any. Angitange ndithi abathile ndithe wonke umuntu odibana naye mthande ngokwenje njalo usondela phi ebungcweleni. If awukwazi ukwenza njalo, then it means you are still miles away from being holy. Now, if that is the case, then we complicate it so that we understand the depth of what it means to be holy. Now, if I'm called to love a neighbor or anybody that I come across, it means this person, esondela ku emdaka ungavuna ukuvula ifestile because woyika ukuba uyanuka nokunuka. You are called to love that person. Can we go further? Do you see that boy in your street? Othi xa evela wonke umuntu afuna uvala ifestile nengcambu ngoba niyazi ukuba uthinyawo ube and uzawungena zokuba uthi uThixo xa ufuna uba ngcwele thanda. Do you want me to go further? Yes. And I'm struggling and it is better because asilulanga uthi xa yethetha uJohn Wesley uthi uthando calls to you to even love the person who brought pain into your life. And now pain can be defined in so many ways. Can you imagine a young woman of 18 having to be called by her faith to love a man who raped her, and she knows him and she has always been experiencing that pain, but God says love this person. And God is not saying to you love uThixo khangathande, uThixo wathanda ekhonywa emthini. Are you with me? Yes. Ebethelelwe emthini uThixo wathanda. Wathanda to a point ukuthi xa busy speaking on him, saying all things to him, bade bathi kuye if ungunyana kaThixo ihla. Over and above that, when he looked at them, he then said to the Father, they do not know what they are doing. Forgive them. I will love. Now, why I'm saying all of this, President, I'm saying all of this because I want to say to the convention, you can never embark on the mission of God when you have not learned to know what it means to love. Because loving in the faith community, it means going to places and people that you normally want to go to. Are you with me? Yes. Are you with me? Yes. So let's move there. I'm sure you do have an idea of what holiness is all about. So the bottom line, holiness is love, and holiness is social, because the God who is holy is a social God who's calling us to be holy because we are social beings. Does that make sense? So that's the bottom line. Now, what is this thing that we talk about every time when we say mission? Because I come to church and mission every day. I think everybody is an expert of mission, you know. A song. None for sure it's a mission. El Kamau has been a buzzword in your convention. What comes out is mission. Mission. But what is this thing? What is mission? And in the context of the church, what is mission? Because in the secular context, mission is simply an assignment that you are given to go and do by somebody who has authority sometimes over you, or somebody who actually has been given the right to send other people to do things. That's mission. You go and do what you're asked to do. And then you come back and you give a feedback on what you have done, whether you have achieved it or not, you know. That's mission. But in the context of the church, it is something else. Mission in the context of the church, it is the work, and it is the work that God is busy doing in God's world. Ngumsebenzi uThixo awenzayo emhlabeni okanye elizweni lakhe. That God is doing. So mission is not something new, President. Mission is something that God is busy with as we speak now. God is busy in God's world, doing God's work. So akodawa engama apha ithi thina senza umsebenzi kaThixo siyawuqala. Akukho nzeqalayo. uThixo useqalile. Into eyenziwa sithi eyokuba uThixo uyasimema. Wahamba nami? Emsebenzini uThixo abhizi awenzayo uyasimema. So the word invitation is critical in the mission of God. It is God inviting you to come and work with God in what God is busy doing. So Tina, we are participants in the work that God is doing. Give up there was an outreach that we were busy with now with the school. Next to the kumbi. They're busy. They're busy. And this is the decision that you as a committee felt well you need to do it. But have you ever paused for a moment and realized that before you even begin to think about it, God was already busy preparing that work? God was ahead of you. God met that school before you even knock at the door of that school. God actually shaped even the minds of the people before you even speak to them, to receive what God has asked you to give. As you give, God has already prepared the hands that receives. I need you. What I'm saying, without the mic. Yes, what I'm saying to you is that uThixo ufika singakafiki. uThixo enze singakenzi. Athi uThixo efika enza ulungisa aba abazakwamkela. Bathi aba banikezelayo banikezela kwizandla esezilungisiwe uThixo. I hope so. So if you agree with my understanding of mission, then I want to declare the mission of God, President, is bigger than the church. What you put is to see what conference. I think I have the cup. 2019, am I correct? Yeah, I have the cup. Empire Walak. God's mission is bigger than the church. But God chooses to use the church as a visible symbol of the transforming presence of God leading to holiness. So, Bishop, uThixo ugqiba ekutheni mandisebenzise icawe ukuze abantu abafuna ukubona imisebenzi yami bayibone ngani ngecawe. So icawe it's a visible bonakalisayo umsebenzi kaThixo. But that is in Zulu, and I don't know whether they are but the mission of God is bigger than the church. Actually, President, what he said is that God actually says in the country, I can do without the church. And sometimes we think that we are the people for God's mission, whereas God can use other people without us. And you know, God has got a sense of humor. And for us Christians in particular, God can actually show you that even you Christians, you can depend on other faiths to have your faith happening. So you're under the roof of the Muslims that you sometimes look down to. But God used them for you to have your convention here. God used them. Before you went to the Muslims, God was in conversation with the Muslims, saying, those Christians are coming. They are desperate. They don't have shelter. They need you. We are going abantu abayi-100 million kwelinye ilizwe befuna inkululeko bengaphansi kokucizelelo lwamabhunu amangisi sorry. uThixo walanda ifoni emfutshane ifake izipekse ezirawu inemasaji humble young man. Wathi uThixo hamba ukukhulula abantu babo. Kangaye kumKristu uThixo xa ekhulula i-India. Waya kuHindu wathi kuye Mahatma Gandhi hamba nabantu bami uyobakhulula. Wabakhulula uMahatma Gandhi. Xa ebakhulula uMahatma Gandhi ayibaskezela uMahatma Gandhi. uMahatma Gandhi wathi ubakhulula wathatha iBhayibheli wafunda ngalo muntu okuthiwa nguYesu. Uthi xa efunda ngaye uthi uyafunda lokhu ndincuma. Isithi Thixo yamthanda lo muntu. Izinto azenzayo zingummangaliso. Imisebenzi yakhe ngapha yakuqonda. Lo muntu wenza izinto ezingaphaya. Wathi kodwa abantu abamlandelayo abafani. So I like this English. It's nice English, and I wish you could take it with you. It is God's mission that has a church, not the church that has a mission of God. Ambana? Luthuko lukaThixo elibamba icawa, ayiyocawa ebamba uthuko lukaThixo. So mission yethu ayiyo yethu until we recognize that God is in place and doing the work. And God, friends, is not limited to us. Now, I've spoken about mission, man. And I want to just go further and say to you, what is Wesley understood to be the mission of the Methodist Church? No, not the Methodist Church, the Wesleyan Church. You know? Why couldn't our service? Why Sabato? Why singahlanga nama-Anglicans? Why singahlanga nama-Catholic? Why singayanga eScotland sayojwayina ama-Presbyterians? Why singayanga eGermany sayojwayina ama-Lutherans? Why the Wesleyan Church? Why the United Methodist Church? Why the Salvation Army? Why the African Methodist Episcopal? Why then? What is so special about that? In the crowd, West, the artist is different. It's because we are known to be a church that has been called by God to reform the nations. I'm the mission statement later. God called Methodist people to proclaim the gospel of Jesus Christ for healing and transformation. And it? How many has a confirmation class? Industry way is to spread scriptural holiness over the land. Into a start is to bring good news of Jesus Christ. Into a sin to care for the vulnerable, to care for those who are at risk, to introduce the gospel to those who have not heard it. Bengixelela madodana alapha eKapalethemba ukuba umsebenzi wabo ayikho eminye ngaphandle ukuba bathathe ivangeli bayise kwabo abangayaziyo. Kodwa into abayenzayo bahlala ngaphakathi bazithulele bodwa bazishumayeze bodwa. Eyesibili into Methodist young women prayer and service union. Giving, prayer and service what? Union. Are called prayer, preaching and service. We've got preachers. We've got evangelists. We've got the YMG. I always say to people that the work of the YMG is to go to the streets and say the big message in 2 minutes and bring them into the church and put them before the preacher. And the preacher unpacks the 2 minutes message to make sense for those people who are sitting in the pews. When the preacher is busy doing that, the Manyano your mama, the Manyano ya matomasane, they are on their knees saying to people, Banga the same. And the Wesley Guild is expected to go out there and do community development and build comradeship and do what? Consecration and pray with them, not preach to them. And when you see all this creativity, what they do now, they need to tap into those gifts that God has planted in them so that they can use them in the life of the church. Do you see the connection now? And these are what? Mission groups. So the Methodist people are called to care for the violated, for the oppressed, for those who are unjustly treated. So now let's go to why do we have you as the Young Women's Manyano? And that's why a party group of order. You know the group of order. If unayo, we have page 85, paragraph 7.40 to paragraph 7.42. Now, in a nutshell, what it simply says, without you having to read it, it says, in mission groups, mission groups are called to be agents of mission, and they are called to participate in the mission of the church. Oh, sorry, President. The presiding bishop of Mawisi, a TED, a city, Nangun Gong, in the Upale conference. Actually, as a commander-in-chief, as a commander-in-chief, she is giving marching orders to all Methodist people to follow suit. You know? You know, Umseben's way is to understand what social holiness is, and for the purpose of healing and hope. And he then also say, all we do, when we do that, we must remain in the love of Christ. It means that's the duty and the job we are given to do. Those are marching orders. So when the president, you know, speaks about love that enables us, it must be love that enables us. One, to remain in it. Two, to see how we reimagine social holiness and how we sustain hope and healing. I am even a part of one end. So mission groups, President, are expected by the church to participate in God's mission. Mission groups, in participation here also should be a response to what the church is calling on us to do. And You would see its conference, bishops, units. I want to do it up everywhere where I speak. Whatever I say, I start by explaining what the platform of work that the presiding bishop has given us. And then it's expected by district level, superintendents and committees and mission groups must do the same. Esageti nomfundisi, quarterly meeting, leaders meetings and class meetings, it's a pity projection if you be moving the president, I was going to show you this red bus. You see, there's a red bus. I'm not yes. There's a red bus there. Doesn't it look like the colors of the Methodist Church? You see it? This bus has got red, black, and some white on it. This bus, when I look at it every time, I see it full of Methodist people who have responded to the call of Christ to do what Christ is asking them to do. And they've agreed that this is what they're going to do. And they've given over the bus to be driven by Jesus. Are you with me? Yes. And Methodist people are inside the bus. But the bus cannot move without wheels. And the mission groups are the wheels of the bus. The 10 emission groups in Tony, a bus. So without a bus, I'm a ville. I was not. But unfortunately, at the present moment in the Methodist Church, unfortunately, the Methodist Church as we speak today, I'm a ville, I want to be bus. But do you know this? Can you imagine this? And we know that the dog, what it does, it wags the tail, eh? Yes. Anybody jump, eh? Anybody silu, eh? How come on find this one seal? When he jump, what dog? You ever picture? Oh, in Manyano, we say, loudly power. I know power loudly Manyano. And in Manyano, there's a dialogue of Sebezi with God. That president is my daughter and his chief. So the night I don't do. When I was president, that realized that I'm sitting in a convention, I'm chairing a convention, that its constituency is not mine. So I don't have authority over these people. These people belong to the superintendent at certain level. I can say whatever I like to them, but if the superintendent says no, it doesn't go. But you know what is happening now? It is the president, the general president. They are not dictating to a constituency which is not theirs. Sorry. But then how do we link the Young Women's Manyano to the mission work? Where can the Young Women's Manyano be the salt and light of the world through the church? Where is the gap in the MCSA for the Young Women's Manyano? What can we do with the resources we have as the Young Women's Manyano? Now, the clear thing, and I'm about to conclude now, I'm just sharing my dream now. The clear thing is that almost 80 to 90% of the people we are sitting with here, some of them are unemployed. Some are single parents. Some they come from child-headed families. Some are victims of abuse. And abuse at all levels. Physical, emotional, you name it. Some of the people who are sitting here, and sometimes we forget this. And we forget this as a church. That some of the people who are here they can't even pay subscription. Some are sitting with you. He's got only one black skirt and one white blouse. Every time when you go to sleep after the meetings in this convention, that person washes that blouse so that it looks good the following day. And the church has forgotten that. You bet. What hurts the most is that if you go to them, if you go to the women's Manyano conventions these days, the poor are embarrassed every day. Because our conventions have become fashion shows. People change his attire every day. We used to have, I'm going to say, we used to have Thursdays in black. You remember? Where the women's Manyano would wear their normal black skirts and wear their golf shirts with the green. You remember? You remember that? You must go to their conventions today. People come with black dresses that can cost 3,000. And I don't know whether you have an idea that we are a church that looks after the vulnerable and the poor, the hungry, those who are poverty stricken. And you forget that when you walk with that 3,000 and there's a mother who had to give away money for bread for her to have something black to wear. And when you get in this task of linking the young women's Manyano into the mission of the church, I said to myself, whatever I can give as an idea has got to be something that doesn't dig in the pockets of our people. It has to be something that just helps them to use the gifts that they have within themselves to do the work of God. And I want to declare to you, you've got the gifts. Each and every one of us sitting here today, we've got something that God has given us. Your problem is that you're still holding on to it. All you need to do is to let it go and give it to God. You know, I like preaching about this text. I just preached about it recently at George. When Moses was there closer to the burning bush, he held a stick that he never knew that this stick can do wonders. Are you with me? This stick, he had it for more than 40 years, using it just to do the normal job of a shepherd. But the moment came when he stood before God, and God said to him, let it go. You know, when Moses released, the moment Moses released the stick, he said the distance between the hand and the ground transformed. And that's when the final. By tongue, was given the power that was beyond measure. That started to Losaba, it turned into a snake. And from that day, that stick was never the same. 2 years later, that stick went into the river of Jordan. And that stick just pointed at the water, and the water split. That very stick, right in the desert, where there was no water, that stick. Land on. And the women in my hands. Land on. What you want to do? We are on. And the what that? A man's a child. And I want to say to you, young Miss Manyano, each and every one of you has a stick in his or her. And you know, one of the things that the Methodist Church was well known for, man, which I would love and pray that the church goes back to it. And I'm sure you would love what I'm going to say. We were leading in Africa as the Methodist Church in the area of health. We were leading as the Methodist. Do you know that the Methodist Church at one stage had almost 5 hospitals? Hospitals. We had helicopters that were transporting doctors all over the connection to go into these hospitals. There was one in Manko, there was another one in Tabanchu, there was one in Bonjeni, in KwaZulu-Natal called Bethesda Hospital. There was one in Namibia, and one also in Mozambique. All those hospitals are gone. And you know why? It is because we have failed. Hold on and listen to this. This is what I'm offering you. To be a health-promoting church. Are you with me? You're looking at a doctor and I thought you would smile. Yeah, but a health-promoting church. Baba, let's be honest. Let me tell you, I'm standing in front of you. I've got 3 chronics. You know, I take a tablet in the morning, I take 2 in the morning, I take 2 at night. That's 3 in the morning and 2 at night, yeah? I'm supposed no ucha ke ela dongo le mandi ansalas. Umbengo is something that I need to run away from. And I want to tell you, you know, when I woke up to that realization, I was sitting at the doctor's office because I felt very tired and I was a bit dizzy. And the doctor told me when I got my third chronic, the doctor told me, he said, who brought you here? And I said, I don't really know. What do you mean? He said, no, who brought you here? No, I felt that I needed to come here because I wasn't feeling well. And he said, no, it can't be you. Something beyond you brought you here. Because your sugar levels are sitting at 24. When I'm talking, the highest will be 9, I'm told. And I was told that actually you would have collapsed at any time. And then he said to me, what makes it worse is that you are also having cholesterol. Now with this sugar going this high with cholesterol and hypertension at the same time, you are a time bomb waiting to explode. But can you imagine how many of our mothers and fathers who have died because nobody was there to tell them what they need to do? How many times have they said in a church service, shumaile, almost 40 minutes, saying all that he can say, and fail just to spend 5 minutes in the sermon and say, actually God requires of us to live healthy lifestyles. And to live a healthy lifestyle, you need to do 1, 2, 3. Can you imagine Young Women's Manyano, if every month you gather as Young Women's Manyano in a particular society and you have a health awareness Sunday? Can you imagine if we could ask superintendents when they do their teaching plan that there is a Sunday in which there will be education on healthy living? Does it cost money now? No, at all. And I want to actually extend it further and say, you don't even need to do anything. We've got departments of government that will make resources available. There are people sitting here in the health services who can stand there and spend 5 minutes and just talk about diabetes. How to deal with it. You know the killer of the 22nd century, let me say so, after COVID, is mental health. Doctors are struggling with people who come to them because of issues of mental health. And we don't have a clue how to deal with it. And one of our weaknesses, young people, is that asifunu thetha. If your weakness here kasikwazi ukuthanda umelwane wethu njengoba sisithanda. Ngokuthi umuntu wathetha sithethe. And you get known, umlumkele ke lo thethayo. Unonezinto yena kuqala. Upolice zakhe. I'm calling on young women, Manyano, find your gap. Stop doing. I want to know you to calls, the collector, I'm a vaslavi, at home. We are not helping those people. We are actually. We are to put ayikho nto ehlisa isidima njengokwamkela. Wamkelisa into ezaxa iphela ngoku ungazi bazawuthini. You know, I must tell you the story. There is a girl from Wits University who told the story. Mamela. There is a girl from Wits University who told the story of how she became a prostitute. And she says, the church came. The church would come every second month and give us things like toothpaste, roll-ons, sanitary towels, and all of that. And we had that for about 6 months, and it stopped. And when it stopped, I was lost. I tried the toilet paper, it didn't work. I cut my washing rack and used it, it didn't work. It was worse when one day when I was in class, and then it showed on my hands. And I said to myself, I've got to find ways to deal with this challenge. And she handed over her life in the hands of blessers. Because we gave false hope. Because handouts are good, but handouts are dangerous. When you give a handout, you must have plan B. And the witness of the church, man, is that whatever we do, our witness is that everything we do, I know sustainability plan. Some businesses that I was there, but when we depend on fundraising, now fundraising is not sustainable now. Because it's money that's here, and you don't know whether you'll get it tomorrow as well. So I'm just calling on the church to begin just to look at how can we look at the health issue. And now if I'm not selling myself now and the unit, if this district can say to us as the mission unit, we want to see how we work on what do you call this? Health promoting churches. We would easily say to you, I don't know whether you work in the church or you have visions or not, you have visions. We can actually come as a mission unit and sit down with your visions and say, this is how we can do this. And start putting, because you see, your basic tools, the basic, you give them and you have the product. We have soft copies of guidelines of how to do this. We can make those available. And this is not just a Methodist mission unit thing. This is a global thing. The World Health Organization is saying to churches, let's start the drive and the struggle for good health. We are told that just after COVID, I'm told it's more than 86 million people across the world, they died because of mental health diseases or being affected by issues. You know how many people die because of diabetes? A lot of people die of diabetes. And it's not because diabetes is painful, it is because they don't have the tools to manage it. Because it's manageable. You can live with it. Here I'm very confident that I'll manage it. Yes, it's now, but I'm fine. I'm fine. And he says, Parmesan, then go to swap engine. And get one of the benefits na engine. You know, benefits na University boom. I'm sorry, I mustn't tell. University boom, they na uniform. Right? We're not done with him. Young man. But what I'm like to say to you, good lifestyle affects the whole family. And then, the other way of starting it, I'm finishing off now, the other way of starting it, the best way of starting it, is just starting by starting a small garden in your area. Yes. And plant all the greens that you can plant. And that doesn't just give you good health, it saves you money as well. Nyandiva kodwa? Bosisi nyandiva kodwa? And I'm simply saying we can do it. And if each society upon it oil, we will support you. We will connect you to people who will give you seeds. People will give you. The Deputy Minister of Agriculture and Affairs has made a commitment. Implements and all. And he said to me, Pundis, I'm available. Listen to me. What in Pundis, I'm available. If you say one society, one garden, I will make it a possibility for the future. So all you need to do is just knock at the door. So, and you must remember, healthy living, it's not just about, the environment must be healthy as well for you to be healthy. And that's why I call to to we Cooper. I said into one year. Nyanti Papa? Lama to move Vasangao. Yasmon Patri Taxasa. Papa and Ayamu and Kenenji. So when you talk healthy lifestyle, you talk an environment who's back up. And connection for me to speak to you about this. And I want to beg you, if you believe in this, man, you know, I don't like saying this, but I want to say it because we push our agenda. If you believe in this, this will be the legacy program that you will have in this district and say, in Kawase, we see the Abuyera to health issues through the Cape of Good Hope. And not just the Cape of Good Hope, but Amatombazane as a Cape of Good Hope. And all we need, another resources that we need, it's you, your talent, your time. That's all. It's you, your talent, and your time. And you can start small by once a month. Just once a month. To promote healthy living lifestyles. And I'm sure Mama Balaba, Abashelapa can support that fully. Kailicha is here. Am I right in saying Bongani is here? Worcester is here. The one who said I was the Worcester. Mama. Elderberg. Oh, Elderberg. Elderberg and Nigel would have a Oh, lovely. And the girl sister to go up when I'm Cape West Coast. Oh, you're in the holiday space, eh? Mama. Belleville. Okay. So you're in the city center. And you've got very resourceful people in the church, I know.
Yes.
I know. Finish Hook Circuit, or the land of the rich and famous. They're in the suburbs. But you see that already we've got circuits that you can start selling economy to Nogwenzeka. And all we can do is to start from there and then move forward. Mama, I think for me, that's how I see the vision. I've got slides here in Kubushiana so that each second can have them. And then you can begin. In the slides, as Troy would, how can you do this? In there as a health education, how do you do health education? How do you do practical actions within the church setting? Advocacy, you know, how do you promote this and all of that? And also empowerment for public witness. So that's it. It's empowerisha. Manyano lukwazi ukuphumela ngaphandle yothetha healthy lifestyle. We can do this. It's easy to do. We can do this. And then lastly, Mama, what I want to say to you then, I'm going back to the bus. If we are to make an impact as a church, we can never work in silos.
Yes.
The Young Women's Manyano must be the initiator, but there are other structures and mission groups within the church that we need to work with. 2, we cannot work inside only. We need to seek partners outside as well. You know, another practical way. A clap back. I don't know whether you know that the Methodist Church in Alentesi Bizamuguti, it pick up points. What we have done is this beautiful, I call it beautiful. I'm very proud about it. I walk about very proud about it. We have established 10 pick-up points. These pick-up points, what they simply means is that we've got 3 volunteers in a circuit. They've got a laptop, but they lay on it. They've got data that they receive on a monthly basis. All they have done is to go into the villages in Klapan and identify HIV positive people with chronics, and all of that. See, my name is we've got a number of 125 people who are on chronic medication, who come to the Methodist Church every month to collect their medication. They don't need to walk kilometers to go to clinics. Medication is just there. We have empowered them for medication to come to them, not them going for medication. 2, what we have done in those centers, those pick-up points, we have actually started gardens. Now, when they come, there is lunch for them, without us having to pay for it. They get it from the garden. And they don't just even get it from the garden, some they take home with. So you see we can do it. And you know what happens? Those who are administering, for every patient that comes, there is a 30 rand that the Department of Health gives to the church. And that money goes to their stipends and administration work that they do there. It sustains the work. Because you need to have that work going on for years. And people who are there who get the stipend, some are Methodist, some are non-Methodist. So I'm calling on you to work together with other people. And the bus is a little lot of moya, a manya flat is our and